Hello everybody, this is Moletrap, and I am here with Combat, and we are doing another epic long commentary here. Not quite as epic as the last one, but well, we'll see. We haven't actually watched the game yet, so who knows how it'll turn out. And as you can see on the screen there, this is a game between FlaSh and JangBi, and this is a very much anticipated game. I believe this game came in second place for the votes for the commentary of the week, and rightly so. These guys, this is, first of all, kind of a big rematch. When JangBi was at his height and FlaSh was at his height, they both played a game on Coliseum against each other, and it was touted as kind of this thing to see how good both of them really were. And in that game, FlaSh did take out JangBi. He did an Arbiter rush, and FlaSh almost succumbed to it, but out of sheer and utter brilliance, managed to pull out the win. Both these players are a little bit, they're not on quite on top of their games yet. I am going to probably have to talk about FlaSh's recent games to spoil them, to talk about how he's doing. JangBi, you can't say he's on a slump, because he got out of the OSL recently, but he got out from some very good players, and he's lost a few in Pro League recently, but again, also to very good players, so you can't really fault him for that too much. FlaSh, on the other hand, he's been looking a little bit vulnerable lately, but a lot of people think that he's back in full form after his recent very, very good performances against the likes of Lomo, for instance, and also in Pro League and what have you. So I'm looking for. This is probably going to be a very, very competitive matchup, is what I'm saying, because even though JangBi hasn't been performing that well, I still think he's on top of things, and this is his best matchup. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. JangBi is in the bottom left-hand corner, by the way. He's the Protoss. FlaSh in the top right-hand corner. And the map is Blue Storm, so that should make things interesting as well. There's a lot of possibilities for shelling, tanks shelling the secondary and that sort of thing. So we'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this match too. Like, as far as I know, JangBi has it supposedly has the best Protoss vs Tran in the world, and then there's FlaSh, which like you don't even need an introduction for FlaSh. He's pretty much like the person to beat right now. Like, he's pretty much on top. Like, yeah, he might be slumping a little bit, but he's still like the person to beat. And by the way, FlaSh doing a normal 10 racks, 12 gas build, something around those lines, and JangBi going up for a early next. JangBi's going 12 or 14 next, and I'm not gonna say this is a bad strategy, mainly because the only thing that would own it is a marine and medic rush, or just like a two racks marine rush. Except that's very unlikely, like on this map, because a quick thing on Blue Storm, there's a small choke, like not I wouldn't call it a choke. It's just a small entrance to your base, like that only zealots and like those level units, those size units and smaller can fit through. And so if that choke is covered off, like yeah, here you go. Here you can see JangBi stopping FlaSh's scout, so FlaSh has to go all the way around. And so vultures and tanks can't sneak through that small scout, so they have to go all the way around the map to basically get to the other person's base. And so it's pretty safe. I wouldn't call it too safe, because obviously it's a 14-12 next, whichever one, and there is still some small. There's always like risks you have to take when you do strategies like that, because you're always vulnerable to some sort of rush. And quickly about this map, if you guys don't know it, two spawn points, and JangBi's being really smart actually here. If you guys noticed, he blocked his choke both times, so FlaSh is going to take such a long time to get to his base, and by the time he gets to his base, he'll already have his build like being done. And as you can see, he only has one on gas, so he's definitely not going to be able to go for a 2-factory push. So that's kind of genius on JangBi's part by blocking it, so FlaSh scout was really delayed. And now JangBi sees the 14x, and we'll see how he reacts to it. But yeah, this map, well, it favors Zerg like tremendously, except there's no Zerg here, so we really don't have to worry about that. And FlaSh sending out his first 3 Marines. JangBi, again, being really smart by keeping his probe on top, so he sees the Marines, but the Marines don't see him because of the ramp. And oh my god, FlaSh going in for an all SCV rush. This is going to be pretty amazing. And he's going for a bunker too. We'll see how this turns out.
Oh my gosh, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's exactly what we would expect from FlaSh, too. He's an incredibly ballsy player, and I kind of thought that, I was about to say, I think that he suspected JangBi was up to something because JangBi was blocking the scout. I think that's why he produced so many Marines. But when he finally saw that, he knew that he had an opportunity to seize that moment when JangBi did not have much going on, kind of a timing push rush thing here. But I think JangBi is going to be able to fight this off. FlaSh did make several Marines, but JangBi has managed to kill all of the Marines off with his probes. Brilliant micro by JangBi, and FlaSh, I think, he didn't pull his Marines back enough, and so now he's coming in here with just one Marine and one Vulture, and there's 2 goons out, and unless he has mines, I don't think he's going to be able to accomplish much here. He's going to be able to pick off a few probes, but he's lost several SCVs in the process. If he can get that bunker down, he might actually finish the bunker. No, he collapses the bunker as soon as his last Marine gets killed off, and he's going to run some of his SCVs back there, but well, obviously that wasn't the best idea because he lost a lot of SCVs and he didn't really accomplish much as he wanted to, but I think I don't know, it was a little bit late and he didn't quite have a lot of Marines going for him, but JangBi played that pretty darn well. And now JangBi's going to counterattack is the problem there, and yeah, you're right, FlaSh, he only had the 1 SCV on gas, so he was only planning on going for 1 factory and a command center, so he wasn't prepared to do a rush that would have been the best, and now he's taken all those SCVs off. He doesn't even have his 2nd command center up. FlaSh is a better macro player usually, so it might have been better for him to go for the long-term build and just go for that 2nd command center. I don't think he accomplished enough with that little SCV rush to actually have made that worthwhile. I guess we'll see in the long run if he can catch up here. Now he's going to have to play defense, and he's going to have to get his bunker going with some Marines in it, and he's probably going to have to... Oh, SCV running into the bunker. He's probably going to have to get a tank out pretty quick to deal with these Dragoons, although I'm sure one is going to pop out just as I'm saying that, since FlaSh has impeccable timing. But I don't know, what do you think? Was that worth it? I don't think it was worth it, but maybe I'm sensing things wrong.
Well, it was kind of... I'd say it wasn't worth it, except... Obviously, FlaSh didn't know he wasn't going to win with that, so he took the risk of doing it, and he was well aware of the consequences, and the consequences weren't that big, because he realized if he was about to lose with it, he could run his SCVs, and all he would be is really behind. He wouldn't, like, lose the game by trying to be aggressive with his SCVs, so sure, he took the risk of being really behind, and by the way, guys, oh yeah, by the way, tank's out, so the Dragoons are going to back off, but Dragoons with range, outrange a bunker, and Marines get like +1 range when they're in a bunker, so even with that, they still don't hit a Dragoon like diagonally. Like if you attack straight up, then they do, except, I don't know, StarCraft's built so units can attack longer diagonally. For example, Sunkens can kill cannons diagonally without cannons being able to attack them, and quickly. Yeah, so FlaSh has his 2 vultures out at the side, but yeah, I don't think that was worth it, because FlaSh could have made a command center like right when he saw the Nexus, and that wouldn't have made him that far behind, except he decided to take the risk, try to end it early, and it didn't pay off for him. And 2 pylons there to block any sort of vulture harassment, just get 2 more Dragoons on the side to complete the small wall, and FlaSh trying to push out here. I don't think he's really trying to push out. JangBi targeting the tanks, and FlaSh microing his tanks really well, losing a Dragoon for JangBi, and FlaSh might actually lose this tank if he's not careful, and he does lose that tank, and 2 Dragoons for a tank. I guess this early game, that's bad for the Protoss, except, yeah, that didn't make that much of a difference, like, even late game, because Terran usually pushes, like, their first push comes when their 12 tanks come up, and, oh, FlaSh, this is actually really smart on FlaSh's part, because he realized that this map is really easy to defend your first 3 expansions, considering you have 1 choke that, basically, if you can guard that choke, you can defend your first 3 expansions, and FlaSh being really smart by trying to catch up economically by getting his 3rd base, pretty much just a little bit later than JangBi, and JangBi also being like a macro monster and like getting his 3rd base like pretty much perfectly timed, and he knew FlaSh was going to get his 3rd base, and yeah, but still right now I'd give JangBi a small edge because he did get his 3rd base a lot earlier than the JangBis. He got his 2nd base a lot earlier, and yeah, he's going to be macroing like off more gateways faster, which will eventually, when their big battle comes up, JangBi will have the small like 10 units ahead than FlaSh, and that could easily make a game-turning difference. But yeah, right now both players macroing up, and nothing too special as of now besides the big rush. But yeah, JangBi ahead just because of that rush. But yeah, nothing special besides that happening right now.
Yeah, it's interesting that it looks like we are going to see some Reavers in play. We saw robotic support bay going up for JangBi. One of the reasons why FlaSh has been so successful in general is because he's just such a freaking smart player. He's usually totally prepared for anything that people come at him with, and you can see he's already getting an armory up. He's going to have Goliaths out. He's already got turrets in all sorts of vital positions, and so sometimes he'll totally shut down the Reaver harass before it's before it even comes. You know, by doing really, really good turret defenses and putting his tanks in good positions and what have you. And we've actually seen that work against him sometimes when they come in early and they don't get Reavers. But in this case, since he's gotten the Reavers, I think FlaSh is pretty well set up. It looks like the north side of his base, he may have a little bit of a gap. I'm not sure if he has any tanks in his main, but he has to make that risk because he knows that JangBi also might just barrel down his front door, and that's why he's got the majority of his tanks behind a blockade at his third base there in the south. So we're gonna have to see if oh wow, he's even got an SCV parked behind that thing so he can see the shuttle coming from the other. Okay, never mind, that SCV is gonna get picked off, but at least he knows a few Dragoons are over there. And yeah, so there's the Goliath. So I don't think the shuttle's really going to be able to accomplish anything. JangBi's pretty much going to be forced to use it as part of an attack force instead of a harass force, is what I think. Oh, actually, shuttle speed is upgraded, and he finds a gap in the defenses, takes out several SCVs. It looks like 3 or 4 SCVs taken out there, and JangBi somehow managing to squeeze his shuttle into FlaSh's base here, dodging these turrets, and the shuttle speed is the only thing that's making this possible. And oh, the Reaver drops out, gets a Scarab out, but those Goliaths are going to be able to chase away that shuttle. And that is one of the reasons why FlaSh is so good with by getting those Goliaths, is you can actually chase the shuttle off, whereas normally most Terran players would not have gotten the Goliaths that quickly, and then they would have been stuck just chasing the shuttle around with tanks, hoping that they could catch the Reaver when it popped out, while the Protoss player dodged in between the different turrets. So you saw JangBi was dodging turrets there, but because of the Goliaths, he was driven off. So he did manage to save the shuttle, though, and the Reavers. So he is going to bring those back into play, I'm sure, later on. He's not going to be able to do any more harassment, but the next time they have a big battle, he'll be able to bring that in and drop the Reaver behind his forces, or maybe even drop them in amongst FlaSh's forces. But it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like we're probably going to just have to wait for FlaSh to build up some more forces, and he's probably going to be pushing out in a little bit. Usually we do see Terrans get 3 bases and Makarov 3 bases, although I don't know if he wants to try and get a 4th before he totally macros up, since there's no gas at his 3rd.
No, I'm pretty sure he's going to push after. Sorry about that. Push out with his 3, and that's what. I don't think he is pushing out. This map is divided, so you can like basically have like a small wall in between the middle. And
shuttles.
Is that a raid?
Oh crap! 2 shuttles.
Oh, that is 2 shuttles. Okay, 2 shuttles coming in, both with shuttle speed, and he's pretty much like ignoring their turrets there, and he might lose that shuttle, but he's that dropped 4 zealots actually, and holy crap, 2 Reavers, 4 zealots. It's gonna be really powerful, and I think one of those got sieged. One Reaver did die, I'm sure about that, and I don't know how it died. I think a siege tank might have hit it, and running all his SCVs, really smart on FlaSh's part. JangBi has excellent Reaver micro. If you can see, he's limiting FlaSh to do like, oh my god, oh, okay, if all these stupid unload that. Oh no, I don't know if that was FlaSh's genius on FlaSh's part by making those SCVs come, so JangBi would be tempted to unload it, so then the tanks would kill it. I don't know who was smarter there, but yeah, that was really good Reaver micro on JangBi's part, and he gets another Scarab buff. I think that's going to be a dud Scarab. Yeah, that is, and that shuttle with very little life. The reason he's not running it is because he's afraid that there's going to be turrets around, and FlaSh trying to get up his 4th expansion or something around those lines, and those 2 Dragoons stopped him, and now the shuttle coming in, and it dies by the turret, and now Scarab, come on, oh Scarab doing. Oh, and it did get it. Oh, that wasn't as much as I thought. Huge battle coming in the middle. JangBi with Zealot leg speed, really proving a point here. Sorry, really key here, and he's barreling down those tanks. Except JangBi has the lower ground disadvantage, and FlaSh has the upper ground advantage, obviously, and so he's going to be able to defend this attack off. And I think JangBi did have a big economic lead. That's why he had more units. But I think that battle, that was really not so smart on JangBi's part to engage there, because he did have a lower ground advantage. And that's very stupid. Well, I'm not going to say stupid because obviously he knows more than I do, but it wasn't really smart of JangBi to engage there, because FlaSh could win that battle with like half the troops of JangBi if he wanted to, but just because he had the upper ground advantage. And now this is pretty much going to come into a long macro game, because this map is FlaSh has made this map divided into 2 like sections, and JangBi is going to take all his 5 expansions and FlaSh is going to get his 5 expansions. And Templar is out in the field, so we might see Storm drops, because that's pretty much the only thing a Protoss player can do, or some sort of harassment on that line against a Terran player like that. And he's getting turrets around the map just because he knows JangBi has shuttle speed, and those shuttles can go anywhere he wants. And he's setting up for his 4th expansion, and JangBi made a pylon there just to see when FlaSh would get it, and FlaSh doesn't even care. He's still going to take his 4th expansion, and JangBi getting his 5th, except FlaSh is also going to get his 5th, and yeah, we're pretty much going to see a long macro game later on from both these players, because pretty much this map is going to be divided 5 versus 5 bases, and shared Terran player has to be ahead of Protoss by 1 base, except when it comes down to 5 bases with 5 bases, it's going to come down to whoever has better micro. And huge battle might be going on here. This is not smart on JangBi to engage on the low ground. And he has Templars in his shuttles. Brilliant, nice, not brilliant, but nice storms on JangBi's part, taking off lots of those tanks. And JangBi's actually attacking in a really good time when FlaSh is expanding. And so you could kind of call it a timing push, not really though. And he's pretty much trying as hard as he can to not let FlaSh get his 5th expansion, because he doesn't want the map to be divided into 2 places, because that'll be really hard for FlaSh. For JangBi later on. And Fleet Beacon up, so we're gonna be seeing carriers soon. And carriers is also another really good option you can go when it's 5 bases versus 5 bases, because that enables lots of harassment, along with being able to take down Goliaths and tanks if you have the number of carriers required to do that. And yeah, so 5 bases versus 4 right now, and again, a long macro game. Carrier is probably going to be the only X factor here to see if they can inflict some damage or not. I'm not sure if FlaSh has scouted it or not, but we'll see later on. And yeah, right now that's pretty much it.
Jesus, JangBi is just throwing troops at FlaSh here over and over and over again. Just like 3rd major battle in the last like few minutes, and he keeps kind of throwing him in and losing his zealots, and then falling back with what dragoons that he has kept. FlaSh playing really intelligently, but it's hard to counter storms like that, man. And he does have his tanks bunched up now, so he's actually in a little bit of danger for more storms here in the future in the next couple engagements. But yeah, 3 Stargates pumping carriers now. This can be a very good carrier map, depending on how it's played. But again, you know, FlaSh, the thing is, FlaSh, he's known for having kind of defeated carriers, having developed a strategy that counters carriers really well. But he hasn't really practiced it that much. And when he played Best, for instance, on Coliseum a little while ago, he got caught off guard by carriers, because, although that was a carrier rush, but he got caught off guard by them because maybe because he wasn't used to them, I don't know. But it was a good build anyways. That was because FlaSh didn't scout the carriers. That was a completely different story. But yeah, FlaSh, he keeps charging in there, and I think he's trying to kind of run in there when FlaSh's vultures are out of position. He doesn't have a ton of vultures on the ground, and JangBi going in for another battle here, running his zealots all the way into the middle of FlaSh's supply lines, and FlaSh does not have enough vultures this time. Usually you would see a Terran have a lot more vultures at this point in the game, but I think that JangBi has just been throwing forces at him over and over again, and just picking off his forces little by little, so FlaSh hasn't been able to mount up a large army. And that seems to be working decently well for JangBi, because as you said, he has been able to prevent FlaSh from getting that 5th base. At the same time, while he's teched the carriers and gotten carriers out, he's managed to keep up enough forces to keep FlaSh's forces down. And this is looking pretty good for JangBi, actually, because that means that in the long run, he'll be able to kind of starve FlaSh out better with the carriers, I think. Okay, FlaSh does have a command center up. He's going to try and take out 5th base after all. But yeah, if JangBi can just keep FlaSh's army down, he'll need a large army to deal with carriers, and he won't have it. And shuttle goes down. I think there were more Templar inside there. The 2nd Templar goes down before it even gets a storm off, and that was absolutely crucial. Zealot's just trying to run into the middle there, but I think it looks like FlaSh is actually targeting the dragoons with his tanks instead of letting his tanks just target each other, target the Zealots on top of each other and splashing each other. And I think that's what saved the remainder of FlaSh's army in that battle. He is getting Goliaths out now, so that means he's definitely comsatted those carriers, and he's trying to prepare for them. But again, there's 4 carriers out now, I think, and FlaSh's army has just been kept so low this entire set of engagements that he only has a few Goliaths. He has a Goliath out for every carrier now, basically. And, oh man, FlaSh getting his expansion attacked right as he's getting it up. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend this. He doesn't have enough Goliaths out. And I think when he moves his Goliaths to engage there, then JangBi's going to be able to attack the middle with his ground force that he's been keeping up somehow. we'll see how FlaSh decides to deal with it. And yeah, he has built up a lot of Goliath, well, a decent amount of Goliaths now, so he might be able to deal with those carriers. But he's in danger of losing this base before he's able to get up enough Goliaths to really drive those carriers off instead of just kind of, you know, engaging them and falling back.
Oh yeah, and I just realized what FlaSh is actually trying to do. Sorry, JangBi, and by the way, another huge battle coming in here, storming all those vultures, and he's engaging with carriers and dragoons. Very smart engagement because there's only 3 tanks. JangBi picking off the tanks with his carriers, so the dragoons can do as much damage as they can. And Glide's not really good against dragoons, and only 3 tanks left, but that is a lot of tanks when you have the high ground advantage. So FlaSh, sorry, JangBi had to run away, and yeah, JangBi desperately tried to make FlaSh not get his 5th expansion in time, and holy crap, that's like, I didn't get the proper count. I'd say that's approximately 10, 12 factories. So he's gonna be pumping Goliaths like every like a whole hockey per like wave of pump, and yeah, that didn't make sense, but you guys probably get it. JangBi coming in from the top. Yeah, JangBi coming in from the top and getting all these turrets down. These turrets aren't to do really like kill the carriers or anything. They're just let the Goliaths come back in time, and that is what FlaSh is doing. And yeah, these turrets are gonna go down, but I don't think that was gonna hurt FlaSh at all. FlaSh probably intended, and as you can see, a huge amount of Goliaths just pumped out randomly, mainly because he's pumping out of so many factories that you could just you can't really throw your Goliaths out because throw your Goliaths out to the carriers, but he's gonna definitely have enough Goliaths to deal with carriers. And yeah, this map really does favor carriers, mainly because of the small, large map artifacts everywhere, and not artifacts. I just call them like map, like what do you call it? Like positions, like everywhere. The way the map's built, basically, and so he's gonna have lots of mobility with the carriers, and that's a lot of carriers. I'd say that that's probably like 8 to 10 carriers. And there's yeah, he has a really good unit combination. He has like lots of like 3 or 4 Templar to get rid of all the tanks, and then lots of Zealots and lots of Dragoons and carriers. So that's pretty much like a really good PvT like army basically. And yeah, he's gonna keep harassing with these carriers as much as he can, and he doesn't want to get too. I don't think JangBi wants to get too careful. Sorry, careless with the carriers and get a little greedy by going in. But as you can see, he's constantly switching from main, like FlaSh's main to his natural, and that's really smart because that makes FlaSh like maneuver his Goliaths back and forth, and that's gonna keep FlaSh like on the edge. And FlaSh has divided the map into like he's divided the map into 2, but the carriers can really kill that because. And JangBi being really smart by targeting all the tanks, so when the Dragoons come in, they can do the most damage. And FlaSh will probably re-supplement those tanks, except he's making a lot of Goliaths, and mass Goliaths is not the best thing to do versus like a large Dragoon. Well, that's not that much of a Dragoon army. I'd say both players are pretty much maxed right now, except when a Protoss player has carriers, then it's not, neither player has an advantage. And I'm saying that because usually a Protoss player wants to be like 10 to 15 population ahead of the Terran when they engage, except carriers is like the neutralizing factor there. And yeah, he's just pretty much picking off whatever he can with those carriers. I'd say that's a whole control group of carriers now. Observer speed has been upgraded, if you guys haven't noticed. And basically, I think I'm gonna give you a quick base count. JangBi is running off 2 bases, and FlaSh is running off maybe 3. I'd say 2 bases, and lots of, I don't know, is he trying to get a storm drop here? That's really or what is he trying to do? Yeah, there's gonna be a storm drop here, and oh my god, utter genius on JangBi's part. He's storming all the Goliaths because that's what's trying to kill the carriers, obviously, and that's really smart. And I don't know if people are smart enough, like in pro game level, to make their turrets target the shuttle in that case. I'm not really sure, but FlaSh could have done that to disable his JangBi's drop, and that was really smart on JangBi's part by dropping the temps to storm the Goliaths. And yeah, that's a lot of carriers. I didn't get the upgrade. I'm looking at it right now. I think it's 2 for armor, air armor, and 1 for 1 shield upgrade. I just saw the shuttle upgrade. That's why I only know those 2. But yeah, and I think there's more Templar loaded in there. Except now FlaSh is prepared for this, so he's definitely going to be targeting the shuttle when it comes in. And lots of carriers, lots of glides. Yeah, this is coming down to a really big macro battle between these 2 players.
This is becoming absolutely insane. That was sheer brilliance of JangBi. He sent the carriers in, the interceptors took all the hits from the turrets, and then he was able to drop, completely freely. And FlaSh probably had other things to worry about. I'm sure if he'd been paying attention, he might have done something like that. FlaSh is one of the smarter players around to do something like targeting the shuttle, but you have to also remember that pro gamers well, I know that you know, but people need to remember that these guys are doing like 20 different things at once, and so they aren't always looking at the right spot at the right moment to deal with something like that. Who's probably gathering his Goliaths at that moment or something like that. FlaSh has a huge force in the middle though. I think that's basically what's kind of keeping him alive. Is he's got this really nice fortification in the middle. So it looks like JangBi. Well, okay, never mind. I thought he was going to go in there, but that's cutting down. But JangBi also has the other side of the middle though, and that's important because that's going to cut down FlaSh's mobility. The FlaSh has to play defense basically because he can't really move his Goliaths out because there's oh my god, that's a crazy massive defense in the middle there. Turrets and mines and tanks and a few Goliaths and a few vultures interspersed there. Really incredible static defense there. And now, like you said, the mobility is really key because JangBi can attack, and as soon as FlaSh brings his Goliaths back to the position he's attacking, he can just pull his carriers out again and go attack someplace else. And so yeah, FlaSh had actually brought his Goliaths back kind of in the middle, maybe anticipating that, so it's going to be a little bit shorter distance, but in the meantime, JangBi's taken out all of those turrets. FlaSh just spent so much time building all those turrets. Oh man, what a waste of time. But now he's finally getting his Goliaths back. They're a little bit blockaded by his own buildings, so they're not able to engage it in a perfect formation. And JangBi taking advantage of that to pick off a couple of those Goliaths, but realizing that it had brought his force back. And see, yeah, here we see again, just pulling back and engaging again, just picking off a turret here and there, moving his forces around. And FlaSh comsatting, he wants to know where those carriers are. He wants to be able to follow those carriers with his Goliaths, because otherwise they'll get picked off. And like now he's picking off a lot of turrets here actually, and the tanks as well. So JangBi just trying to basically go around and be a punk and pick random stuff off with his carriers. And you know, honestly, that is a good strategy. I mean, that's you have to use the map and what you have to your advantage there. And this isn't looking good for FlaSh actually in the long run, because JangBi's doing a really good job of changing locations and just picking off turrets and what have you. And I think he might actually be spending less money on interceptors than FlaSh is on turrets at this point. Although FlaSh is not losing many Goliaths, so there is that, I guess. He's not having to replace many units in the long run. But JangBi down to one base now, and I think FlaSh is down to one base also. So one or the other could easily starve the next one out if basically whoever wins a decisive battle might be able to starve the other one out pretty quickly. He's finally.
Yeah, and about what Motrap said right at the starting, and JangBi bringing his pro. Oh yeah, it's probably just to clear population up because he realizes he only has one base, and so might as well clear the extra pro population and get units. But yeah, what Motrap said at the starting of that, these all pro gamers pretty much have over 300 APM, and a quick overview of what that is. If you guys watch my VODs, in my VODs I probably have like 150 APM, 160 around their APM, and these players pretty much have double my APM, and so imagine clicking that fast. When you see their first-person VODs, like I know these, when you guys watch this on YouTube, sometimes they show the first-person VOD of them. They have crazy APM, and yeah, FlaSh probably would do something like targeting. But getting back to the game, yeah, this is a large amount of carriers, and I think it would be smart on JangBi's part to pretty much, depending on how many minerals he has, but stop producing more units and just focus on making more interceptors, because I guarantee you he will be out of minerals very shortly, and he's gonna need them all for interceptors sooner or later. And this is gonna be really. I think he's gonna make this shuttle unload his whole army over here, because technically there's nothing JangBi can do about it. FlaSh can do about it, because he is watch now. He's gonna come in with the Goliaths, and JangBi's just gonna storm all of them pretty much. And yeah, not really great storms going off, but enough to make the Goliaths run back a little bit. And yeah, as you can see, FlaSh just unloading his whole army, JangBi unloading his whole army there, and Goliath's pretty much not good against anything besides carriers, and well, in the Protoss army at least. And yeah, so carriers are gonna that's a whole control of carriers. So I give the advantage to JangBi right now just because of his mass and maneuverability, except he is running really low in minerals. So yeah, he's gonna be starved out very shortly, and then the advantage might slip to FlaSh's favor if JangBi doesn't decide to do anything about FlaSh's 5th expansion. And I honestly don't know how many units JangBi has on the ground right now at FlaSh's base, mainly because the interceptors are covering like the whole screen and I can't see. But yeah, and Yeah, lots of glides. They're all getting taken down shortly, and that's real. Actually, I just realized that's really smart on JangBi's part. He's basically making the Zealots and Dragoons and Templars and whatever else he's unloading take the damage, and then the carries are doing the damage. And Armory was about to go down, except JangBi being really like not greedy with his carriers, and he's just like letting them live. And as you can see, that is really working for him. And turret attacking the carrier, but that's not really going to do anything. And now that turret's going to take it like in the ass, like really badly by all those carriers. And now, yeah, JangBi just picking off whatever he can, and he has a lot of units. And I'm pretty sure both these players are max, except I don't think FlaSh will be able to move out, because if he tries to move out, he will get owned so badly. Once he loses that high ground advantage and tries to move out with the siege tanks, he will get owned like unbelievably by the carriers, dragoons, zealots, and Templar. And now JangBi just picking off whatever he can. That's almost, I think that's two hockeys of carriers, mainly because I see like a group of them moving, and then I see another group of them moving like right after. So I think that's two hockeys of carriers, except the second hockey might only have like 5 or 6. And by the way, yeah, FlaSh just losing all his glides, and there's nothing he can really do about like. And his tanks basically covering the Goliaths so they can't engage the carriers. And by the way, Goliaths with Charon booster and carriers have the same range, so neither of them have a larger range than the other, so they're pretty much even when it comes to that. And yeah, that's a lot of carriers. Yeah, I think FlaSh is also down to 1 base, so I'd pretty much say this game has definitely gone to JangBi already, because that both their 1 base is going to be mined out shortly, and if JangBi is smart by saving the minerals, then he will be able to re-supplement those interceptors really fast, and eventually he'll just overpower FlaSh with the carrier. So yeah, and he has stopped making carriers and pretty much everything, so he is saving up for the interceptors. And I think, yeah, this game is probably going to go to JangBi at the end, because well, look at that. That is like 20. I'd give that like 20 carriers pretty much. And I'm pretty sure he has all 3 upgrades on shields, armor, and weapons for air. And so, yeah, he has like a ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen this many carriers in a pro game. And honestly, I think the best way for FlaSh to like kill these is probably nuke them or something, because the way he's playing with these glides and the way this map is able. I'm just joking about the nuke, because I highly doubt JangBi will fall for that, but. I don't think there's any way for JangBi to, yeah, and this shows his 4th base is mined out, and 5th base is almost mined out also, so, yeah, JangBi is definitely probably, oh, and, yeah, I'm not really sure, because depending on how many minerals he has, we really need to see a count on JangBi's minerals, because that'll determine how many interceptors he can make. And, well, and interceptors cost a lot, by the way, like, say, like, I pretty much, by the way, carriers and interceptors cost the same amount, like, a carrier costs 350, something like that, minerals, and interceptors overall, like from one carrier, cost around 300. I'm not really sure. I could be wrong, but they cost almost the same. And yeah, as you can see, now he's not even microing that much, mainly because he has so many carriers, and there's not glides can't really do that much about it when there's like 24 carriers, because I don't even know how many glides you need. You need like 50, 60 glides to take care of that. But yeah, I think this game is going to go to JangBi when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I don't know where FlaSh is getting all of this. And here we have, oh man, this is JangBi's first person view, and you can see he has no minerals left, and he has no intake. Oh wait, no, he has like basically 1 patch of intake right now. So, but he's out of minerals. So he needs to actually conserve his interceptors. If he loses all the interceptors in those carriers, they'll just, and he's out of minerals. So basically, he has enough money for 3 more interceptors total ever. And or he'd probably actually spend the 50 minerals on like 1 Templar if he's smart or something like that. But so basically he has to win the game with the interceptors he has now. And FlaSh has built up a lot of Goliaths. I don't know where the heck FlaSh has gotten enough money for all these Goliaths. FlaSh could actually come back. Now this is FlaSh's first person view, and FlaSh is also at 0 minerals. But I think he's almost mined out too. He's actually using his SCVs to form more of a blockade in the middle here. Although 1 mine will just take him out there. And FlaSh is mined as well. So basically, both players only have what they have on the map now. And I'm not, yeah, JangBi is bringing out his probes here. Hopefully he doesn't just suicide them, because, yeah, he's probably not going to just suicide them, because he doesn't have any money to replace them with other troops, even if he wants to increase his population. But this is crazy. I don't know how FlaSh was managed to build up that many Goliaths. That was ridiculous. And critically, he still has a few tanks in the middle, too, because if he didn't have those tanks in the middle, then JangBi would just be able to run in through the middle, and the Goliaths would completely fold to those Dragoons and what Zealots he has left, if he has any Zealots left. But we'll see. And now both players are mounting up in the middle. This is absolutely ridiculous. It looks like JangBi might be planning to go in and use his probes to take hits so that the Dragoons can actually get in there and do some more damage. One science vessel out. FlaSh has used his last minerals to build one science vessel. And now he's floating his factories out. He doesn't have any money left. There's no money left on the entire map, so he's going to float his factories out. And that's actually pretty clever, because what he's going to basically try and do is hope that when the battle happens, that JangBi's forces will attack his buildings instead of his units. And so that way he'll give his units more hit points. And Jesus Christ, FlaSh has a ton of Goliaths now. And they're at the March of the Factories. He's setting every floating building he has, basically.
Yeah, that is actually really funny. I've never seen that in a pro game where they just use all their buildings to like kill the other person. Yeah, that is really smart though, making your buildings take the damage so your units can have more, or at least they don't get hit. That's what you could call it. And yeah, the probes are also probably going to take a little bit of damage, except yeah, I honestly can't give either player an advantage, because I think all FlaSh has to do is hold position, all his Goliaths, pick off every last interceptor, except I don't know how well that will work considering there's such a large amount of interceptors. So yeah, I think it's going to come down to, and I don't think JangBi wants to engage either, because if he engages, the turrets are also going to do a little bit of damage, and what? Yeah, you go. Yeah, the turrets are going to do a little bit of damage, so.
Sorry, real quick. I think he's going to try and cover his Goliath so that JangBi can't even target them. Or maybe he's covering his tanks.
Oh, that actually could work really well, except I'm not really sure. Well, I am sure that carriers attack whatever is attacking them, so he can't target the Goliaths, as in like he can't click on them, but the carriers will automatically target the Goliaths, like even if they're under the building, because they're attacking the carriers. And yeah, it's like I don't know, StarCraft's built like that, but yeah. And honestly, I don't know which player should engage, because whoever engages, JangBi can. What the? I think the game's not even paused, except FlaSh has nothing. Oh my God, FlaSh has absolutely nothing he can do right now, so he's just like, whatever, man. I'll just like fix my keyboard or whatever. And he's what the heck is he doing? Oh my God, this game's not even paused. I really don't think it's paused, and he's just like, he's just chilling. Oh my God, that's like. Honestly, you could call that a Pimpus play right there. He's literally fixing his seat just because there's absolutely nothing either player can do. And honestly, that just made my day. FlaSh, oh my God, that's funny. That's classic. And yeah, the coach is laughing a little bit. And I'm not gonna give any comments on how she looks, because I realize other commentators have already done that. But yeah, and right now both players, as you can see, no gas mining, no nothing, and I think the referees are going to pause it and see if either player wants to attack, except I don't think they will do it, because there's such a large amount and either player could attack whenever they feel like. But yeah, nothing really special, and Carrier is doing a little bit of dancing, whatever they're doing. And yeah, I think these players are finally down to my APM, like 160 around there, because they actually have nothing to do right now. And yeah, so it's pretty much going to come down to that one big battle that's going to come down whenever it is.
When FlaSh was now, yeah, see, FlaSh is at my APM right now. Right now.
Oh my God.
He's got nothing to do at all. He's moving one SCV around randomly. I think in this situation, both players seem to be content to just sit and wait for the other to attack. So that's why I think you're right. They might pause to see if either are going to attack. I think if either player had the advantage, it would be FlaSh, though. I think if FlaSh really wanted to, he could probably take the battle, because JangBi doesn't have a lot of Dragoons. He's setting up his Dragoons in one huge MFing arc. Just to, he's got his probes to screen. He's got a couple Templar to storm whatever comes at him first, and then he's got his Dragoons in a huge arc so that things will pile into the center of his arc. And there's the pause coming from the Kesper referees to see if they are going to see if they're actually going to attack. I think if either player was going to do it, I think FlaSh would be the one that could possibly take it if he attacked. But I don't know if he wants to risk it, because he could easily lose to the carriers just running around in circles, and you know, then he would lose if he lost. Funny how that works. But yeah, it looks like neither player really wants to attack. Otherwise, they probably already would have, because they had plenty of time to. And look at that pause screen. That's great. But yeah, In any case, I guess I'll do a little bit of a spoiler here. I actually didn't tell Combat beforehand that this is actually a draw. I knew that beforehand because I wanted Combat to be surprised, but this is a draw. So both players are going to have to restart, and when there's a draw in any of these league games, what they do is they just start over from scratch, and it's kind of sad that all that work and all that battle comes down to nothing. But they are going to start over on this same exact map, on the same exact the same map, same players, of course, obviously, and they're just going to play again from the beginning. And so this has been really fun to watch, though. I'm glad we did this, and basically we're going to issue the second game as part 2. So after you're done watching this, you can go and watch part 2, and it is important to note that it's not like it's just starting from scratch, though, because both these players are tired. They're both kind of been battling back and forth, and it's going to be the same map. So I think the first game has a little bit of bearing on the second game, but at the very least, this has been interesting. Combat, do you have any other thoughts before we go on and do the second game?
Well, first, thank you for not telling me. That's actually pretty nice. And oh my God, what the? I think the referee's gonna announce that it's a draw. I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's pretty cool. And second, I gotta admit, you're like my epic commentary buddy because every game I somehow do with you, it ends up to be like super long and like super epic, and that's pretty cool. Like how things turn out. But yeah, it's actually really
Well,
funny how this ended up.
well, that's why I
Go.
picked this game to do with you, is because I knew it was epic and long. So I was like, we got to do another one.
Yeah, and FlaSh leaves because yeah, it's a draw, and it was really cool at the end how FlaSh was just like chilling, and JangBi was like picking at his like small chin hair, whatever he was doing with at the end. If you guys want to go rewind and see that. But yeah, so this is a draw. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the game, like what happened. I'm thinking right now, neither player did that much wrong. I'd give more skill to JangBi because if you think about it, all those times when he unloaded those Templars, stormed the Goliaths while the carriers were there, that was really smart. And then his micro at the starting with the Reaver, that was also really nice. FlaSh didn't do anything really, really spectacular besides come back from his big economic deficit, or whatever you want to call it. And that's Firebat Hero, I'm pretty sure, because I can recognize that hair
Yeah.
of that ceremony man, and he's with some other player. But yeah, yeah. So I don't think I give more credit to JangBi in that game because he did more stuff to make it a draw than FlaSh did. So, but yeah, both players played really well, and yeah, I don't think I have that much to say because both players played a pretty much almost perfect game. I can't really say any errors either player made. How about you? Do you think there's any? Oh, by the way, that's it for me. I don't have anything else to say about this game. Do you have any
Okay.
closing remarks?
No, I just thought it was actually kind of interesting. JangBi went and started talking to the Terran players on his team, it looked like, and FlaSh went and talked to the Protoss players on his team. He went and talked to Lucifer and Nalra. So they might be actually, doing kind of. They might just be, shooting the shit and just, saying, "Oh man, I gotta play another game." But they also might have been, trying to see what they were gonna do in the next game, try and get into the head of the other player. So I think that is it. So yeah, see, there's JangBi and Firebat Hero talking right now. Although Firebat Hero has crappy versus Protoss, so he might not be the best person to talk to. But anyway, he is the best Terran on Samsung, so who knows? Anyway, all right. So yeah, I think that's it for now, and I'm really excited to see what these guys will be able to bust out in order to try and take a win in Game 2.